Imagine your application finally works. Users are happy, your pods are running, traffic is flowing, and then Kubernetes suddenly deletes your pod, create the new one, change the IP address, and now everything is broken. Welcome to Kubernetes networking, and that is why Kubernetes service exists. In Kubernetes, pods are temporary. Seriously temporary because Kubernetes can restart them, reschedule them, replace them, and also scale them, which sounds terrifying, especially if your application depends upon the IP address of the pod. Imagine calling your favorite pizza service and every 5 minutes their phone number changes. That's basically Kubernetes pods without services, and this gets even worse when scaling happens. Now Kubernetes needs to decide which pod gets the traffic. How do applications find each other? What happens if one of the pod dies? How do you keep the stable IP addresses? That is job of Kubernetes service. A Kubernetes service gives the pod that they desperately need, that is, stability. Instead of talking directly to pods, it talks with service. And then the service figures out where the traffic should go. Pod changes, but service stays. Think of it like a reception desk in your office. Employees come and go. Some people go but never come back, but the reception desk, it's always there. Service provides a stable IP address, stable DNS name, automatic load balancing, and service discovery, which means application doesn't need to care if the pod is alive. Kubernetes handles it automatically. These services find every pod that has the label Nginx and then send the traffic there. That's it. Kubernetes service is like a smart traffic routers for the pods. The default service type is ClusterIP, which basically means the service is only reachable within the cluster. So traffic comes within the cluster only. It is perfect for the internal microservices like a front end connecting to the backend, your backend connecting to the database services, or auth service talking to your payment service. Think of it like an intercom system, internal communication only. Next, we have a NodePort. It basically means, okay, you can use the service outside the cluster, but you have to use this node, which works, but it is not how most of the production system expose themselves outside the cluster. That's why there is a load balancer. This is the best cloud native approach. Your cloud provider creates a real external IP address and route internet traffic into your cluster. Most Kubernetes beginner memorize this, but understanding when to use them is the most important. One of the biggest confusion in Kubernetes is understanding the difference between service and ingress. A service gets traffic to pods, and ingress controls how the external traffic, external request comes inside the cluster. Ingress is basically a traffic controller, and service is basically the delivery system underneath. Think of service like the apartment gate from where the traffic get inside, and ingress is like the security guard who checks who goes inside the apartment. And you need to keep this in mind, ingress does not replace the service. Another most common confusion is understanding service versus deployment. Deployment creates the pod and service makes them reachable. So a pod is running the application and service is like a network layers in front of that pod, which allows or which denies the request inside that pod. So the main line is pods are temporary, they can go, they can come. But service, it is stable. So you don't reach the pod directly, you reach to the service and service delegates your request to the pod. So you don't need to care about the IP of that pod generally, because the constant IP is provided by that services. Let's imagine a real application, e-commerce platform. Each part of this system runs a separate pod, and each group of the pod gets its own services. Now imagine the traffic suddenly explodes. Like instead of 1,000 requests per second, there is 10,000 requests per second. Kubernetes create more pods, maybe from 2 to 10 pods. Some dies, some restarts, but end user never know about it. Why? Because their service stays constant. Kubernetes services are the reason why our applications are stable, even while containers are crashing, restarting, stopping, but the service remains constant. Service remains stable. That's all for this video. I hope you have understood about the service in general and its difference with the Ingress, its difference with the pods, and I hope you will implement it. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. Keep watching arconsis. Thank you.